Happy Tuesday. I hope you all had a great first day back of our second week of e-learning and you're ready to get moving and get your work started this morning. Just a couple of reminders to make sure that you're managing your time really well, that you are finishing your assignments, not just clicking on them to view them, but making sure that you're following the directions within the assignment as well. Just two extra reminders for today that you are thinking about our weekly challenge of putting together a strange and silly item to take a picture of and submitting it to me to use for our competition against the other fourth grade teachers. So when you come up with a silly and crazy picture, you can take that picture and send it to me on message or in Class Dojo, and I will put it into our selection group to use during that weekly challenge. The second thing that I have sent home in an email this past weekend is about our famous Floridian projects. You have had over like 2 months to work on your famous Floridian project. We were given our last task right before spring break to make sure that you had finished up your trifold boards and you were ready to do your presentation. And I sent a few reminders to make sure that you were still following those due dates. So when we were ready, once we were on our virtual learning platform, that you were ready to present. So you had directions given this past weekend to make sure that you are videotaping your presentation dressed as your character or a character during that particular time period that your Floridian lived. Make sure that in your video that I can clearly see your board, that I can clearly see you, and that your presentation of your video is of your 60-second oral report. Your parents can send me that video on email only, so I can save that and put that into our collection, and I'm also able to use that for our grading purposes. You were also asked to please take pictures of each of those items that you had carefully worked on and to put on your board to make sure that you had shown that you did your rough draft that you showed me in class, but your final copy is on your board. So once you have finished with your videotaping presentation, you were asked to take pictures of close up of the items that you were required to put on your board, and that will be used to take your grade according to the rubric that you have in your famous Floridian folder. Please remember that both of those items are due to me by Wednesday night. That way I can grade those projects and put them into focus starting on Thursday. So remember, the deadline is on Wednesday because that was supposed to be done 2 weeks ago. So we gave you a little bit more time just to make sure you can finalize some of those last minute items. The book that we're going to be reading today is called Lost and Found. "Where's your hat?" Mom asked. "I don't know," I said. "It was my favorite hat, blue and white with orange stars all the way around. It used to have a fuzzy red ball on top, but it fell off. Your grandmother made you that hat." "I know. What'll we tell her when she comes to visit this weekend?" "I don't know. The minute you get to school tomorrow, go look in the Lost and Found." "Okay," I said. But the next morning, I didn't go to Lost and Found. I decided to find the hat myself. At recess, I looked by the basketball hoop and under the slide and behind the baseball backstop. I asked Donovan if he had seen it. "It's blue and white with orange stars all the way around," I told him. "Nope," he said. "Did you look in the Lost and Found?" I made a face. "I know," Donovan said. "I lost my baseball jacket last month, but I was too afraid to go see Mr. Rumkowski." "Can't you just get another hat?" asked Jessica. I shook my head. "Gran made that one for me, and I have to find it, even if it means asking Mr. Rumkowski." "Uh-oh," they said. After recess, I looked for my hat in my desk and under the hamster cage and behind the bookshelves. I asked Tamara if she'd seen it. "No," she said. "Did you ask Mr. Rumkowski?" I made a face. "I know," said Tamara. "I lost my sparkly purple scarf last month, but I was too afraid to ask him." "I have lots of hats," Jimmy said. "You can have one of mine." Thanks, I said, but I have to find it, even if it means asking Mr. Rumkowski. Oh no, they both said. The next day, my friends asked me if I'd found my hat. No, I said, I've looked everywhere. There's only one thing left to do. Go to Lost and Found. But that means talking to Mr. Rumkowski, said Jimmy. Uh-oh, said the others. I know, I gulped. He's really old. He's so old, he was the custodian when my mom went to the school. Yeah, said Jessica. He's always frowning and grumbling, and his office is way down at the end of that scary hallway behind the cafeteria. When I finished my lunch, everyone wished me good luck. I took a deep breath and then went down the dark hall and knocked on Mr. Rumkowski's door. What do you want? A rumbly voice asked. I lost something, I said. Well, come in then. I slowly opened the door and peeked in. The office was filled with mops and buckets and cans of that powdery stuff Mr. Rumkowski spreads on the floor when someone throws up. What are you looking for? Said the voice. My blue and white hat with orange stars all around. It had a fuzzy red ball on top, but it fell off. What's so important about it? He growled. My grandmother made it, I said. Mr. Rumkowski scratched his head. I think I remember seeing a hat like that. Follow me. That's when I saw the enormous box. I'll get a ladder, he said. I peered down into the box and picked through the things on top. I didn't see my hat, but I saw Donovan's baseball jacket and Tamara's sparkly purple scarf. When lunch period was over, I grabbed the jacket and the scarf and climbed back down the ladder. I didn't find it, I told Mr. Rumkowski, but I'll take these things to my friends. Come back sometime and look again, he said. Donovan was happy to get his jacket back. Tamara put on her scarf and twirled around. Jimmy, Jessica, and a kid I didn't even know asked me to look for something the next time I went to Mr. Rumkowski's office. Did you find your hat? Mom asked after supper. Not yet, I said. You must learn to take better care of your things, Justin. You're having to spend an awful lot of time looking for your hat. I didn't say anything. I knew that already. The next day I went back to Mr. Rumkowski. He dragged the ladder out again and I climbed into the box. I dug down deeper and found all sorts of weird stuff, but no hat. You have had those things you pulled out. You can have those things you pulled out, Mr. Rumkowski said. Nobody wants them. Thanks, I said. See you tomorrow. My friends went crazy over all the stuff I'd found. I went back and looked through more stuff. The things I found were getting weirder and weirder, but still no hat. On Friday, my mom dropped me off at school early. This afternoon when I pick you up, I'll have your grandmother with me. I didn't say anything. I knew that already. I went straight to Mr. Rumkowski's office. Keep digging, he said. It seemed like he wanted me to find the hat as much as I did. But I was about ready to give up. Everything I was finding now was really old. Finally, I got to the bottom of the box. Do you see it? Mr. Rumkowski called down. It's not here, I said. Just this dumb old pink sweater. He said. Try looking under it. I lifted it up. My hat, I yelled. Blue and white with orange stars all the way around. Mr. Rumkowski helped me out of the box. Are you sure it's yours? It's mine, all right, I said. And then I noticed that it had a fuzzy red ball on top, just like the one that had fallen off my hat. I turned it inside out. The tag said, Sally. Wait, that's my mom's name, I said. This must have been her hat when she was a kid. Mr. Rumkowski actually smiled. Come back anytime, he said. I put the hat on and went to class. I wore it all day long. When Mom picked me up, my grandmother gave me a big hug. I see you're wearing your hat, she said. Yes, I hugged her back. I made your mother a hat exactly like that when she was a little girl, Gran told me. I know, I said. My mom had a funny look on her face. I grinned, but didn't say anything. Gran looked at my mom and then at me. I wonder whatever happened to that hat I made for your mother. Maybe you should ask Mr. Rumkowski, I said. Rumkowski? Gran said. Is he still at this school? Your mother was always afraid of him, but he's really a nice man. I nodded. I knew that already. And it says, Stanley Rumkowski in The Discovery. Blowing the leaves, he's looking up, and what does he see? The hat on top of the flagpole. To the students, teachers, and staff at the Paul Covey School in Providence, Rhode Island, where I lost my hat all the time, by the author. All right, my kiddos, I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. Work hard. See you this afternoon. Have a great day.